spiritual aspect of it you think is important? Because sometimes when we look at fatherhood, we look at from a financial, from the physical presence of the individual. But that spiritual connection, do you think
that's
that
where it
is...
starts? No, it starts with the spiritual connection. It starts with the spiritual connection from the time you meet the person, before even the baby born. You know? So when you get that vibe, and then you get the spark, and then you make a baby, because it's not just a baby making, you know.
So in other words, for you, it's like, okay, I meet this woman, and we get involved.
Yeah.
It's no longer the I or the me. It has to do with us.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's not how much money I can give, in terms of the financial support. It's not how much time I spend, but there has to be that other element that is greater than us as human beings, that can assist us throughout the struggle. In terms of, all right, there are times when we are unable to make ends meet.
Yeah, we need to.
That's what is referred to as the invisible hand, so to speak.
Yeah, we need that. You know, we need the invisible hand. We need God. We need the Most High. We need, the Creator. You know,
You as a young man, how much of that you think is important, or has it been important in your life? Do you sometimes find yourself just asking yourself questions, and you seek a higher being, quote unquote, to give you that answer?
Yeah, you could kind of say that. And I was raised in a spiritual family, I would say. So, I mean, I never left that culture of sometimes going to church. And then the thing about it is, I actually wanted to go to church where you'd get other parents just bring their children, but the children don't want to actually go.
Yeah, that disconnect.
And I want to touch on something you said. You said something about the father meets the mother, and then you get that love and then a spark and then a child.
Yeah.
Something around that line. I mean, if you watch reality, it's not like that anymore, I would say reality is, before, sex used to be something that's valued. Now sex is just sex. I want to have sex, I call that little boom sex. In that boom sex, you make a child. But then that...
So you're saying there's not all the time,
that
there's always
connection wasn't valued.
But
So
one
then-
can say the same thing for our parents. Who says that at that time it wasn't the same thing for them? That's why they were able to have 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Alright, bro. Let me tell you something.
No. Allow him to finish.
Okay, go ahead.
That's true, but then I mean it's true, but then at that time you see men will actually being men, but now you see they stepping down from their position. I mean sometimes back in those times you would see a man do that, but then he still had that one person that he valued, that he might maybe say, okay, that's the person that I have with my 5 children, even though you have 2 of them that maybe have 2 other children.
So you say like you used to plan that?
Yeah, maybe it was maybe something, maybe that one person he valued where you give all those children and then
they have his person on his side.
But then nowadays you don't have men having that one person that they value, that they would say, okay, this is the set person to have my children.
Right.
You just have them having it with anybody, and then accidentally, which I don't want to say, you have the situation of the child coming out. But then, like I said, I don't know how it was back in the days, but then I know how it is currently in reality from my point of view.
So you think that spiritual, you grew up in a church kind of family setting, and you think that has assisted you, it has helped you to be who you are, today?
Of course it has assisted me. Like when you have nobody to go to, I was a very complicated and still a complicated person. I mean, I'm an extrovert, but yet still an introvert. If you understand what I say. And when I go through my depression or not, I would go to only one person. But I raised myself as someone not trusting anybody because of what I see, what I experience, and like I said, mainly what I see. So I being an introvert would just go to God, and then I would just stay there.
Now you also a father.
Yeah.
So we are hearing this young man say these things. We as elders, so to speak. Does it in any way kind of, when we leave here, how much of an influence do you think it can have as we sit here now and we talk about it? And this is a young man who has been through his pain. In fact, he's still going through his pain. It's like we're asking ourselves, boy, should I put a child through that? In other words, this girlfriend that we have out there, in addition to our main squeeze, as we call them, does it allow us now to think that we need to even be more careful or even stop what we are doing?
It does. Yeah. Definitely. Because the way I see it, right?
Without cutting you short, because what we cannot do, it's like the stories of the girlfriend who is dating either one of us when she knows we have our woman in house.
Right.
So on Christmas Day, on Valentine's Day, on these special occasions, they are not given the priority.
Right.
The priority is to the main squeeze.
Yeah. Right.
So we are here now witnessing what he has gone through and he's still going through.
Yeah.
So does it give us that opportunity to say, should I put myself in that situation where I am causing pain to an unborn 3, 4, 5 years from now?
Yeah. What happens is like the people that go through it, they experience, they change, and these are the people that change society and change what people do. Like he would. I don't think he might do what his father did. Or maybe he will at least try.
Yeah.
Or if the mother, he can't work with the mother, maybe he will try to do something where the children could get that experience and not feel that bad. But now you know what's needed, and that's just what it is. It's a build-up. There's a lot of good fathers out there, and there's a lot of good families out there, but the others we just trying to wash it up, and it comes from that. It comes from the bad into the good.
What would you want? You talking to us as elders, what would you want us? If you were to say something to us, what would you say to us?
As fathers.
Yeah. I would say.
Based on your experience,
I would say be involved in your child life, not financially, but emotionally.
Not only financially.
Not only financially, but emotionally.
Yeah.
Because you just having a simple call with your daughter, sometimes it might just be you thinking, okay, I'm being a father, but then sometimes it impacts her in a totally different way, which you don't know. And a simple call is actually good enough. For me, it's actually good
enough. It goes a long way.
And there are, like I said, there are people who die and never met their father or never spoke to their father. So, if I have to say one thing to a man, is that a simple call would do for a child. But just try to invest your all into that child. Try to be in that child life. Like I said, not only financially, but emotionally, because subconsciously, things just react to the children, especially as they grow up in different stages. And for me, when I got my depression and whatnot, I went to the Most High and whatnot. But then other children will not do that. Other children will not do that. A lot.
So that means like you're not very strong.
I'll
tell you one thing though, because for with me, I take fatherhood very serious, and I'll tell you why. Like you were saying a while ago, like the outside woman and whatnot. Well, I don't have an outside woman, if I'm not. Sure.
You just come up with something. I don't think it's.
But you think about it, no. Because like somebody will think they with you, and anyways.
I wish I would have said that.
So as I was saying, but anyway, that's it. So here's the thing, right? I had this experience where, as in a great relationship, well, we was great at it as in a relationship, it didn't work out. And I went through my phase and I was like, I'm a bachelor, free up, let me free up. And then, I met a couple of people as I enjoyed myself until somebody became pregnant. And
you said that like you played a game.
I wasn't playing a game, but I was going through the emotions and everything, And then somebody became pregnant, and then the reality was So I cannot have that child because I could lose so much.
Explain what do you mean you can lose so much?
Okay, so like for example, right? Like the individual was with someone.
Okay.
And they were also with me.
Right.
So it's a matter now where it's likely it's me.
Oh.
But I don't want to take that risk. And as a result of that, I lost my first child, to be honest with you. I wasn't even given an option, reject. And I always think about that. And then when we got pregnant, I'm referring to my partner and I settled down and whatnot. The first time we went to a doctor, the doctor said, this child will most likely die. Because my daughter was disconnected from the feeding tube, right? So everything has just been passed out. And then I was like, what? So from this to that, you know? And then lo and behold, I said to the doctor, bullshit, my child not die. You know? My child is not going to die. So my partner had to be on bed rest for like 7 months.
Wow.
But mind you, the funny thing about, well, not funny, but the weird thing about it is that I had 3 friends who one bed rest who lost strength one after the other. So I refused to send them on stress home. So about 7 months, I'm like a nurse. My mother and I were like nurses, catering to everything. Then after that 7 months, when she got dengue, so she had another month on bed rest.
I mean, mosquitoes by the woman, yes, sir.
I didn't have the mosquitoes to come there. No, it wasn't me. But here's the worst part about it. 2 weeks before my child was born, our child was born, my girlfriend's mother died.
What?
So like, so I literally had to, because I want to see my child. My child is at risk of dying as well through all that process. So I had to carry all that load, including her load as well, while dealing with all of that. And if I have to be honest, if you're going through all of that, it changed my mindset, you know. So my thing right now as a father is like every decision I make, I don't make any I decisions anymore. My decisions are based on us, you know. Every decision I make is based on us. So anything I do, I think of that 5-year-old I have at home. Anything I say, I think of not just her, but I think of her mother as well, you know. And to be honest with you, I think being an accountable father has made me a better person. And I know of people also fatherhood has changed. Because, I mean, I was raised locally, so I know I have a lot of partners who, before you tell them anything, they would react or they want to fight. So they'd be like, boy, like, say you just brush them and they'd be like, boy, killing you. Now you brush that guy and he tell you, boy, you're lucky I have a child to take care of. So, you know, the whole energy changes.
Changing.
And trying to have a way of transforming us.
Yeah, definitely does.
And for me, that's a beautiful thing about it. I think I'm a better person because I'm a father.
How old is your daughter?
My daughter is 5. As a matter of fact, she's graduating tomorrow from preschool. Yeah, man.
So you wasn't like nervous, like just thinking like what would happen in the next 10 years if I would be able to sustain as a father? Because you're doing what a lot of people did not do or wasn't able to do, right? Because a lot of other relationships ended early. Sometimes while the woman was pregnant, sometimes you're not 1 year old, but you last 5 years. That's a big deal for me.
Yeah, well,
that's a big deal.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it is. I think that's why we have to be careful as to who we have children with, and so that because you never see like you see something and everything is just perfect and nice, and you just jump in.
It's
like,
rich guys.
One time.
Yeah, this thing get rough, but you can't swim too well. So you stick in that gas.
That's why I do something a lot of time. I'm not bashing.
We have to be careful. We have to be careful as men. I tell you that.
You meet a woman, an angel, give them at least 1 month, and then After that, that's it.
But sometimes
I'm not even talking about much of
no,
that.
but sometimes we without even being aware of it, we
change too.
change them because of our actions.
No, it's true. It's true.
Sometimes we know we do that. We
It's true.
you know because I mean at the age of 54 I've had a number of girlfriends.
Right.
I'm a different person as the individual that I was years ago when it came to running around and having girlfriends.
Right.
The appreciation now for a woman, I mean, I live with my daughter. The other one is out studying. And I remember a friend of mine said to me, at that age, Chinese, you cannot live alone, you know. And I remember saying to him, what do you mean? He said, no man, you cannot live alone at this stage in your life. And I remember going home and you had this big bed all for yourself. You know,
when you stretch,
you know, you establish yourself, you know. But it's that loneliness that comes into you, and it's not about the intimacy per se, but it's about you at this stage in your life where you want to share, you know. And if you have a child or if you have children, it's not about you just taking care of the child, but the two of you can at least make a decision as to what to do as it relates to that child or the children.
Right.
So sometimes you do it on your own and you're not really satisfied because that decision there was nobody else input but just yours.
Right.
In other words, I say what I say goes.
Right.
And sometimes it has a negative impact on the child because had there been somebody else, probably your perspective would have been different. It goes back to what you said about the ego thing. You know, it's me. I working hard, I paying the bills, what I say goes, you know. And I think sometimes we as men, we tend not to admit it. But you know, that female companionship, it plays an important part because, like you said, you know, it has made you a different person because of what your partner went through in terms of her illness, she having to have bed rest, then losing that family member. That changed you automatically, you know.
I must admit, I learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
Because of our ego and our mentality, we usually let experiences take over us and not see the good and the benefits out of it. And even that contributes to our topic. And I would always say that it's never one thing that make a problem. It's a bunch of issues that make a general issue. So when you watch the father perspective, there are a lot of things that contribute to a father stepping down from his or position from being a father or something of that sort.
Right.
In other words, what you're saying that the woman might cause it, or because of, like, going back to your word, the inheritance. In other words, you know, that's what I saw. Your father beating your mother. It's almost as if this is how it's supposed to be. You know, because, you know, that is, you know, I mean, the stories that we have heard, a number of these the celebrities, when they tell you their stories, a lot of them tell you they grew up seeing their parents always fighting, the father always beating the mother. Some of them have had that impact where it has changed them and they see things differently. For us in the, I mean, let's talk about the region. I grew up in a neighborhood where I would hear the mother, this lady being beaten. The next morning I wake up, she all black and blue. But yet still, that lady knows she has to go and cook the food and take care of that man, regardless of. Now, we as young men, we grow up seeing that. And inheritance, again, that word that you use, it's almost as if I don't do the same thing, it's almost as if I am not doing what is right. The young women sometimes almost feel like if you don't beat me, if you don't slap me, if you don't shout at me, you don't love me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that happens right in our society.
So maybe it has to do with more family. You know what it means to have a family. You know more.
Do you think the man has to play the leading role?
No.
I think roles should interchange.
It's not a leading role.
It's what?
There's no leading role. It's a unity. It's like.
So in other words, the interpretation of man is that man is the head of the household.
You know why? Because in relationships you have to compromise a lot.
Yeah.
You know, so it can't be a leading role. It has to be an understanding.
I grew up never seen my mom and my dad hug each other and kiss them and kiss each other.
But you had a community. Remember?
I didn't sit in the community either.
Okay, alright. I don't know. I wasn't there.
I grew up that way. My mother, my father, and my siblings. We grew up in a house.
Right. Up to they like
Up to the like today, my mother, my parents are still together.
Look at what the cause.
Yeah.
Look at your mentality.
Mhm.
Your mentality is not to stay away.
Mhm.
You understand? Because you have the togetherness. You want to be together.
Mhm.
You would go and fly to be together.
Mhm.
You understand? So that's what family is important. And not it might not be you, the other person. Both of them have to have the background. So the history of us is that we don't have family because the father had to do one thing, the mother was there. They're here and there. They're not together.
In other words, we didn't want a repeat of what we went.
What we
Yeah,
went through,
it has
pretty
to do
much.
with the macho-ness. It has to do with the woman. Maybe
Yeah.
she's extra sexy and she feel like she could get any money. So if that man tell her one thing, she go to the next one. That would show
Yeah,
more attention.
that's
the
true.
men the same. I could get any woman I want. I could get any.
Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that.
So we're not showing the respect to each other. And we're not really showing togetherness. And
That is so true because imagine, like, at home, for example, I cook at home because I'm the better cook. I cook, you know. Now people would say, "Boy, the woman have to cook and prepare the meals." Now, my partner works in like auditing and accounts with money, so she's better at handling the money.
Right.
You know. Now, I was raised with my mother, and I learned to be a man from being with my mother. So it's like my mother raised me to be pretty much man and woman, and for a long while I left on my own. I remember the day I was a woman, like, I'm a teacher, school clothes, so I home, I have to wash. I'm not just washing my clothes, I'm washing everything. So this guy passed. Hey boy, Ras, you opening panty boy. like as if you know.
You get
so like as if, because I'm opening my daughter's own, I'm opening hers, I'm opening my stuff as well.
you should have 10 o'clock at night.
Never, that. Or like,
But there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, so they
There's
come
nothing
home and
wrong with
they would see my partner on a computer doing some spreadsheet or something, and then they'd be like, "Hey, sir, you there in the kitchen, yes, sir?" Like, alright. But at the end of the day, she's the one balancing all the bills and all of that, but that's her forte. That's what she's strong at. So my thing is that if you know where you're strong at, you know, and I think that's important when looking for a partner, because especially when you have children, you know, you need to have that balance and trying to understand
Some
that
level of
balance.
responsibility.
So I know what I'm
Understand
strong at,
something.
I know what I'm weak at. Like when so we have that balance. So this is my thing. Okay, so that is me there, that's you there. You do this, you do that, and then you find with that understanding, your child will raise up in an environment seeing a boy, and that's where you eliminate that ego. Because my same partner at present time I boy washing panty. A few weeks later, the first school's outside.
You didn't go and wash it? You didn't wash?
So you check what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, guys, it's like you have to put that ego. You said that you have a family, you have a child to raise. Right now, it's not about you anymore.
So how do we make this 238 square mile piece of rock, or this world, a better place, considering if all the issues that are going on? The children, the young ones need that kind of father figure. They need some kind of guidance.
Right.
What if we have not been playing our role as we have seen our own peers, our own friends? They are not doing it. How can we, in one way or the other, influence them?
We need
What is it that we need to do?
we need,
Those of us who know already.
we need role models. We need people that's in the light that are the fathers. You know, we need people that's on TV that's the fathers, that's showing the family. You know, for example, like Obama. You know, beautiful family structure, something to look up to. To actually say, okay, this is real. You know, I just not hearing about that because I can hear about it in school, my partner going through something at home, or this, that, and the third. But we need that a woman, Cecil Descartes. A woman figure, that a mother to society.
So you're basically saying the wrong people are on TV.
So,
the wrong people are at the top.
Our eyes are on the wrong set of people, on the wrong set of things. So our, we're just on the wrong thing.
Who do you have as your role model? Who is your role model?
Who's my role model?
Yeah.
I honestly don't have one particular role model.
Who do you look up to?
I don't have one.
You don't come to me, man.
So
At this place.
honestly, like I said, it started from I'm turning every negativity into my positivity, and it's almost still the same. But like I said, it almost still the same. So anybody I see that does
That is doing well, you just try to emulate.
anybody that does something positive,
Yeah.
I say, wow, that's good. That's something I should take into consideration and do for myself. And I am going to be just now. Let me make sure. So one of the programs I'm going to for the summer is a young leaders program, and you have to write about a role model in your community. And I wrote that same thing about turning negativity into my positivity. But then since it specified to look for one individual, I mean there are two people in mind. But then one of them I took into consideration was my uncle. My uncle is the most successful person in my entire family. But here's the funny thing about it. He didn't go to school. He never touched a school. And right now he has a very good and considerate position in society. He's stress-free. He's not doing anything bad or wrong that would have his conscience beaten. But like I said, he's the only person who didn't go to school in my family.
Alright. Shiny,
Yeah.
you have a big bill there. Like $705 so.
For the free advice.
Yeah. Plus that.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say it again. I commend you. I think you are, a lot of young men, and I encourage you to continue doing what you're doing. It was for me, I'm very happy that at this stage in my life, I can hear a young man speak like that.
Sound good.
There's so much conviction and
man.
a strong will. You've been able to do it on your own, basically.
Yeah.
But I think for me, what is also of great importance is that you didn't eliminate that spiritual aspect, because I can tell you, I think most of the times we think we are doing it on our own, and we're really not. There is that guidance somewhere, that invisible hand that takes us along, and I think you have been able to have had that invisible hand guide you through, and I wish you all the best as a young man. The same thing goes for you, my brother. If you're a 5-year-old and your partner and what you're doing, you should continue. And as a teacher, I think it is very important, because you stand in front of young people and you don't know when they see you and where they see you. So that puts a little bit more on you to ensure that whatever you do, you always, doing things that are positive, So, keep up the good work and,
This program is brought to you by Fix, Financial Investment and Consultancy Services Limited.